Welcome back to another series of this HTML tutorial. In our previous class, we discussed about the HTML list, but today we are going to be moving and examine what is HTML form. If you have you can have a form in an HTML. You can have a lot different types of form in an HTML. You can have a login form, or registration form. Maybe you want to collect a registration for some pages, for some anything you want. You can have a registration form, a contact form like the one that you used to see when you log into a website. You can have a contact form on your website. You can have a survey form. Maybe you want to collect some information from some people's, maybe for a particular research purpose or other specific stuff like that. You can have it. You can have a payment form, whereas you will be prompt to enter your card details and all other related information before you can proceed for a particular payment on some websites. So we are going to learn how to create a simple form using just only HTML. So further on this tutorial, we are going to gradually move on to CSS. We are going to incorporate CSS in our code along as time goes on. Guys, just follow me. If you want to create a form in an HTML, let's just come here right now and have this HTML. Let's call it HTML form. HTML form. If you missed any previous lecture, kindly go back and watch them. And if you could remember, this is where we stopped in our previous lecture. We stop right here. Let me preview it so that you can recall exactly where we stopped. This is where we stopped in our previous lecture. But today we are going to move on to another lecture. It is HTML form. So I will just pick all these previous lecture and read them to create room for another lecture. Okay, I have removed them like this. Now, to create a form in an HTML, we have what we call form tag. What form tag used to look like is just that open a tag, then type form tag like this. This is what we used to use to declare a form in an HTML. Form tag, it's used to contain a lot of stuff that you want to add in your HTML. Like for example, now in my HTML, let's say I want to collect name from my user. We have a particular tag that we call label. This is just to label what I want to label, like username. Okay, this is what we call username. But my form, let me give it a name. Let me give it like a login form. I'm going to, for the purpose of this lecture, I will be using center tag. This is just like a new concept. If you are following this lecture from the beginning, we have what we call center tag. Though we are not going to use this once we move on to CSS later, because it is deprecated. It has been like dropped for CSS to be using this particular tag function. This tag, we are no more using it in modern codes, so just know it for as a reference. It is still working though. When we have a center tag like this, we can easily put whatever we want inside it. Okay, and we have h1 tag. Let me click h3 for this. Then let's say we have a login form. Let's call it registration form so that it can contain a lot of registration form. I'll call it this. If you notice, I nested this inside this center tag. That is where I put my registration form. Let me make it cluster. So we have the registration form inside the center tag. We can preview this and see what we are having right now. And see, if we preview this, you are going to notice registration form. It is in center and username is at the left side. Okay, now let's put this username. Let's put some more information apart from this username. Let's say I want to collect a username. Let's say I want to collect username. Let's say I want to collect the user phone number. Let's say I want to collect email address. Okay, let's say I want to collect another information which is like a date of birth. I'll use DOB for this. Then you can have this. You can have this. You can have this. Okay, let's preview this and see our result right now. Right now we are currently having all this. As you can see, all of them are straight on a straight line. I need to break them down into different sections so that we'll be having username and another one below just that the username. Now I'll be using break to do that for me. I have break tag, so BR, just only this. And if you could remember in the first lecture, I told you that there are some tags that they have a closing tag. This break is part of a code. It is part of the tag that are not. It does not have a closing tag. Just the open tag alone. If you like, you can decide to close it. Maybe you are using more extensible HTML markup language. Though that's not what you are considering. You can just put a backslash like this. But for now, it is still acceptable to just put it this way. We have BR. this BR, let's see the function of this BR now. For this, just only this username. For this username, as you can see, the username is break down the rest to the second line. That is the function of that. Now let's do the same for the phone email of it. For this phone, we are going to add the break. So we have the break. For the email we have break, and as well for this label we have a break. We have break for all of them like this. Let's preview and see. By previewing, as you can see now, everything is now on a separate line. The reason why we are having that, I will explain it in another lecture. The reason why everything is just straight like that. Not to take much of our time, let's move on to inserting, collecting the username. The username we want to collect. Now I will come inside here, right here now. I'll break it down just like this for you to notice. I am coming inside the label just after this like this. I'm coming right here. Okay. Now inside this phone, I want to put an input. We have what we call input tag. Input tag in HTML is just denoted by this. It does not have any closing tag. Just like this, that is input tag, and it has a particular type that you want. For this, I'll be using input type. So input type. Okay. For this username, it asks for simple for all this. For this username now, since it is just a mainly text, the username of the person is just going to be text like this, and for this one, it's going to be number. Okay, and for the email, it's going to be email. Okay, let's have password as well. Let's have a password as well. Okay, let me break it like this. Break to group them so that it can be easily understandable. So this part is only for username alone. I will now duplicate it and change it to password. Okay, so let's say we have another section here where we have all this. So this username is going to be password. Let's have a password field in case we want to collect password. Okay, this password now, the text that it is asking is going to be password. The type. So the type here, it is attribute of an input tag. Type is attribute of an input tag, and this is the value that you can use. These are some value that you can use. This date of birth. For this date of birth, I will have to use I want it to display, to pop up with something like a calendar, so that the user can pick out the exact date from it, exact date of birth. So for this, it's going to accept dates. Okay. Now we have text, phone number, email, password, date of birth. Okay. Now we have another input. For now, let's preview what we are having before we move on, so that you can follow along. This is what we are currently having here. If you can see, let's test. For this one, upon focusing here, it is showing me text that I can easily put it. But right now, once I move here, you see automatically it changed my keyboard to numbers. Now I can insert numbers in my this. Okay. Now in the email, it is showing this. So let's say I just put any rubbish and move here. The password, it is asking me for password. So once you are typing, it is showing ... So that is the power of HTML. And the date of birth, once you click on it like this, it is going to show calendar. So you can easily pick from whatever you want. Just set like this and it will show. That is it for the registration form. But it is not looking good for now. That is because there is no CSS yet. But let's complete our form. Let's say that after this date of birth, we want user to select a particular this. So maybe we want them that are above 18 years of age to select, like to check a box that are they above 18 years of age. So we can copy this and type that this now, just copy like this and bring it down. Instead of date, we have what we call checkbox. Okay. Instead of date of birth that is here, maybe we want to put some information after this input. Now after this input, what I want to put is that maybe accept term and condition, or something like this. It is accept term and condition. Accept term and conditions. Okay. Now let's preview and see what we are having. If you preview this, as you can see, all these are showing, but this now it has changed to checkbox. User can easily check their box like this to accept the term and condition. But for this term and condition, sometimes it used to be clickable. As you can see, once they click here, it is accepting. So once they click accept terms and condition, it is showing directly. But sometimes if we click on this accept terms and condition, it will take you to a page where the terms and condition is. So using that, we have something that we call anchor tag. That's what we used to use. For anchor tag, we are going to treat that in a separate lecture, so that we will be exploring 2 or more pages, how you can link them together. That's for that. And for this now, let's just add more space under them, under each of this thing. So we are going to be utilizing 2 break now, so that there can be a feasible space between them. Okay, now for all this now, I'll be using this break. I'll just make use of a 2 break tag. So you can paste here. Just paste like this. Okay, paste. Let me paste it as well. Now it is showing some space between them, and this look quite good enough. For this one now, as all of them are there, the reason why this is showing is because of the number that I specify in the attribute. The type, the email is showing this because I specify it. If you want to notice why the difference in this particular email is in this keyboard, if you look at this space, it is showing @ Okay guys, so we have another method. We have something that we call a method in HTML. What this method does is that when you have to specify get, we have get, post, put, delete. We have it in the HTML. You can easily specify, if you specify get, it is going to submit this using a URL link. This one is not secure. We are going to exploit all this type of get method later on. Inside this method now, you can use post. This post is the most secure part, the one that most people used to use because it is highly secure. It will encrypt your data and it will not be showed. It will not be converted into a link form that it can easily be tracked. Okay, this one is simple and very secure, especially when you are handling data between your website, between your application and your server. This one is mostly secure and it is the highly recommended. But for this mail tool, we are going to be using get. Okay, you can use get, put, delete. I'll be later on, if you are following this tutorial, we are going to build a real application with this all these things that we are learning later on, and how you can apply it to real life situation. Just follow this tutorial step by steps. Okay, now after we have this get method right here now, anytime we submit our form, it is going to send this action. It is going to call this action that okay, create an email to submit it to this particular phone or particular email address. Then it is the method that is going to use internally is get method, the one that can easily be previewed. I'll teach you more about get method later on. Just let's continue. Just pretend as if you have understand this part so that you can comprehend it more later. Don't let it get complicated. Okay. Now once you preview this and we click on continue, it is going to submit. As you see, it is triggering something on my page now. What is it is trying to pick up is my Gmail. The one I installed on my phone is trying to trigger it. That's why it is showing, but there's nothing inside it yet. Okay, so as you can see, form, it has already helped me to fill it. From this is the one that from my email address, the email address on my phone. Okay, now to this name, and what I want to send is this, but I don't have anything yet, so we have to go back. Okay, now let's try and put some information. Let's say the username that I want to use is let's say Abubakar. My phone number 006976476. Okay. Now it is asking me to input my email address. I have to put my email address. I just want to put this, and the password. It is asking for my password. I put secret password. Okay. Now date of birth is asking me for my date of birth. Let me just pick 2020. Let's say October 2021. So I'll pick October 1st like this. Then 120 and accept term and condition. Accept. Okay. If I accept term and condition and send like this, like continue, let's see what is going to happen. As you can see, it triggered this up to this extent, but some of my value, they are still missing. There's nothing still yet, despite that I put something in my form. Definitely there is something still missing that we need to learn, and what we need to learn is what we call name. The name is going to be the one to do all the remaining part for you. Now HTML has what we call name. Inside this input now, you have to name them. That this name, if you want to use it at your own email address, like as a message that is going to be sent to you, just type name attribute. This name attribute is going to be the one that will contain the value that is sent to you. Name, we are going to call it username, so that anytime username is typed, you can use it, and you can even call it let's say name, so that you can understand it better. You can call this name, then the phone number, let's say name, I will name it PH, I will not say that number, PH number, just like this, just to short it, phone number. My email address, it is asking for the email address. I will have to give it name. Okay, name. The name that I want to use this for this email. Okay, it asks for the password. I will have to give it a name. That the name equals to password. Okay. This one asks for date of birth. You have to give it a name. Then give it a like this, date of birth. Okay. Now this checkbox terms, I will have to give it a name and call it terms. Like terms and condition. So terms. Now this let's preview it again. But before we do that, we notice that even if we didn't put anything in our HTML and we try to submit it, it's submitting. Sometimes we need a small validation in an HTML. The validation is going to be the one to check that if everything is empty, don't accept. So inside this HTML, we still have another attribute that we call required. Just type required. So it definitely is must collect the, if this username is not entered, it will not submit. Required. That all these are required. Just type required like this. They are required, and the password also is required. They have required, and the checkbox that they must check the box. So required. Okay. Now let's try and see after putting required in everything. Okay, now we have all this still just like as it is before, but when we put some follow inside right now, let's say that I put follow Abubakar, let's say abstack. Okay, I put a follow, let's say I put a follow now, abstack, phone number 169, it asks for this, and the email address, it asks for my email address, I put this, and it asks for password, I put secret password. I put secret password. Okay, now the date of birth, it asks me to pick a date of birth. Let me just pick January 2024, just like this, and I submit it like this. It says that please check this box if you want to proceed. Definitely you have to check the box. Let's say that I didn't put this phone number and I put this and I say continue. It will tell you please fill out this field. As you can see now, you have to fill everything. So that's the validation for you. Okay, for this abstract, if you didn't put it as well and you press on the continue button, it will show you please fill out this field and it will bring up the keyboard for you. Just type in your follow. Okay, now everything is set. We have checked everything. Let me press continue and see. I have pressed on continue, I click on it, then it is triggering and populating all the forms, trying to submit it to my Gmail. That's what it is trying to do. Now as you can see, it's showing up gradually, and the information that I want to use is going to be submit. Okay, you see they are still missing. Many information are still missing. Definitely something is wrong. Let me check the form again. Okay, all these are set. Everything is set. Name is specified. Okay, let me check this method. The method is okay, but the method is using get. It's using gets method, and which is what we need. Okay, everything is almost okay. Okay, let's change this to post and see the difference. Post. Okay, because we are submitting it, definitely we are posting these forms, and let's fill and see the difference. Abstract. Okay, it asks me for password. I just want to pick January 1, 2024, and I accept the terms and conditions. Then I click on submit to see the difference of what is going to happen. As you can see now, everything has been populated, which means the name that is submitted is abstracts. The phone number is all this file after this phone number. Just let's break it down. It is using AND to connect them together. That this is the phone number, the name is submitted is abstract, this, while the email is this. It uses this AND that to connect that, and what it is submitted again. Password, it is using password. It is telling you that the password is this, while the date of birth is this, and terms, you say that it is on, that is, it is clicked. If the user did not click on the terms, it is going to show you off. That is what this is trying to let you know. These are the information that I just collected through the form. Okay, guys, as you can see, this is how the email is populated, mail to all this, body, everything, how it populates everything. Okay, now guys, if you like this particular tutorial, you like this lecture that we just did on this particular lecture, kindly like, subscribe and share for more of this particular lecture. Guys, remember to like, subscribe, follow, and invite your friend. Don't be stingy. This particular lecture is mainly free for you. Just help me to like and click on the subscribe button so that you'll be notified anytime I post any new video. Guys, see you next time, and we are going to be learning CSS gradually. Just keep updated with my current. You can easily add me up on WhatsApp so that you can be seeing my status anytime I drop new video. Thank you guys. Bye.